Hey everybody, it's Party Elite, and with the Steam Fall Sale kicking off, I'm here to point out some great deals on some great games you'll want to add to your Steam library. As usual, my focus is on strategy, city building, and tactical RPG style games, and if you have any recommendations of your own, feel free to drop them in the comments down below. If this video helps you find something you enjoy, consider hitting the like button, and if you want more of these kinds of games in your life, feel free to subscribe for guides, let's plays, previews, and more. Now, with no more time to waste and with timestamps down below, let's begin. Old World is currently 20% off, available for just $40, and it is an excellent 4X title that blends familiar ideas from the genre with strong RPG elements and a focus on character-driven decisions and family. Set in the ancient era, you choose from one of many leaders to play as, settling cities, building improvements, and recruiting units to do battle. You'll engage with many other nations through the course of any single game, not only the others that you could have chosen to start with, but additional unplayable tribes that you can pursue diplomacy or war with in an attempt to gain an advantage over your enemies. Apart from fighting against other nations or seeking out diplomatic opportunities with them, you'll be dealing with politics within your nation as well. Each faction has multiple families within, and by picking and choosing which ones you appease through your actions, you'll gain access to benefits and special abilities or units, or you'll upset others, which might cause them to rise up against you in rebellion, forcing a civil war. You'll be tackling interpersonal events between yourself and the various members of your council, you'll be arranging marriages and pursuing illicit affairs, and you'll look to ensure your heirs are raised right for when your current ruler dies and your game continues with you playing as your heir. Personality traits determine who makes a good general, governor, or spy, and beyond interpersonal relationships within your empire, you'll need to manage a multitude of resource types, technological advances, religion, and more. Old World has a unique approach to everything from giving units orders to the randomization of the tech tree, and these unique approaches are all very welcome innovations in my opinion. They're not just experiments for experiment's sake, but they actually make a positive difference in the genre and the space and are well worth experiencing. I can highly recommend grabbing Old World if you're a fan of the 4X genre, but are looking for something fresh in the space. I have had a ton of fun with the game. King Arthur Knight's Tale is currently 35% off, available for just $30, and it is a very fun twist on Arthurian legend that released just earlier this year. A full-fledged isometric RPG with turn-based tactical combat, you play as Sir Mordred, the traditional villain in these stories, and you've been brought back to life by the Lady of the Lake to kill King Arthur. In order to do so, you'll need to pull together a band of heroes, or I suppose I should say, anti-heroes, and lead them through a variety of settings, equipping them and upgrading their skills appropriately so that you can use them in combat to overcome all manner of fantastical enemy. Beyond battles, you'll be managing Camelot as well, building it back up to provide you with the resources you'll need to make progress through the campaign, including spaces, for example, to improve and heal the heroes of your own Dark Round Table. Heroes who can die if you don't look after them during battle, each of them having their own personalities, traits, and goals, and each of whom have their own degree of loyalty to you and your cause. Your own cause, which is mutable in some ways too, balancing the moral compass and influencing how the narrative plays out with some of your decision-making alike, while also actually influencing what kind of abilities you have access to based on said moral compass. It's really hard to describe the game without making it sound too edgy for its own good, but once you sit down with it and start handing out court titles or passing decrees and laws, and once you start training up your aspirant heroes to get them sat at your round table, you'll quickly see just how much depth and variety there is to enjoy in the game. The aesthetic is spot on, the voice acting is solid, and the variety of enemies and replayability that comes with the morality system are all great too. I can highly recommend the game at full price, and it is certainly one of the lesser known gems of the year, so grabbing it on sale is an easy decision to make. Wartales is currently 20% off, available for $30, and it is absolutely worth every dollar on that price tag, and more. As an open-world tactical RPG, Wartales has you lead your band of mercenaries in a beautifully rendered 3D world, traveling from town to town, engaging with random encounters, conversing with all manner of individuals, seeking out opportunities for quests, and dealing with antagonists of different kinds too, from bandits to giant rats. There's a great level of depth in the party management aspects of the game especially, where beyond simply leveling your crew up and equipping them appropriately as per their traits and abilities, you'll want to assign professions to your party members to unlock profession-specific abilities like smithing or lockpicking, and your party as a whole will unlock party-level upgrades and abilities over time too, boosting their capabilities beyond the tactical battles. As you run around and get into various shenanigans, from battling bandits to playing competitive sports, you'll quickly see just how open the world is to your desired actions, but also how willing the world is to show you the consequences of said actions. Attacking innocent merchants traveling from place to place is a completely valid way to acquire equipment, food, and money, for example, but if you act like a bandit, you can expect to be treated like one by the law enforcement, being hunted down and intercepted by the strong arm of the law until your bounty's been paid off. Or, if you feel up to the task, you can just keep thwarting the law instead, avoiding them or overpowering them given the chance. The not entirely grid-based, turn-based combat will be familiar to fans of the genre, and Wartales definitely leans into the tactical elements of outflanking, outnumbering, outmaneuvering, etc., giving you relatively free rein with regards to how you move people around and use their abilities. Properly using said abilities, good positioning, and higher quality equipment and traits all come together to determine the victor, as you might expect. And beyond the usual fare of traveling and fighting, lots of typically mundane aspects of the genre have been converted into fun mini-games that have a direct impact on your results, and they never really start to feel tedious, as is often the concern with this approach. Wartales is a really fun game, and even though it's currently in early access, it's more than just a solid foundation with hours upon hours of fun to be had already. And the developers have been constantly pushing out updates, both big and small, so I have zero hesitation in recommending the game, especially on sale. DUNE Spice Wars is currently 20% off, available for $30, and it's an excellent real-time 4X strategy game set in the universe of, you guessed it, DUNE. Playing against the AI or friends alike, you can pick one of 5 different houses from the universe to play as, each of whom plays significantly differently, with each also having a choice of 4 advisors from which you choose 2 to further impact the asymmetry, complementing your own playstyle and strategy for that specific game. You look to secure regions and the resources they hold within while battling against the harsh climate of the desert planet Arrakis, and keeping an eye out for the warning signs of massive sandworms that can gobble your army up whole and completely turn the tide of a game in an instant if you stop paying attention. Political deliberations will often see buffs and debuffs get handed out to the involved factions based on how each of them uses their influence to target the other, and apart from the politicking, diplomacy, espionage, and technological development side of things, you'll engage in good old-fashioned unit production and combat, looking to upgrade said units and customize them as you move further down the tech tree to gain access to more powerful options. DUNE Spice Wars does a great job of bringing the complexity one expects from a 4X title to the fluidity and pace of a real-time strategy game, and you'll be managing a plethora of resources and intertwined systems with multiple different ways to win any one game, and multiple different ways to prevent your opponents from doing so too. The game is constantly getting massive updates with a 4-player multiplayer mode and a 2-player multiplayer mode already in-game, and an additional conquest mode coming soon. Recently, a 5th faction was added to the starting 4, and literally a week ago from today, we saw the addition of airborne units and a plethora of new mechanics, resource types, and systems to go with them. Yes, DUNE Spice Wars is also just in early access right now, but the base game feels a lot more complete than a lot of final releases these days, and it's been a ton of fun since early access first launched. On top of that, the constant updates are, again, absolutely massive. There's lots of hours of fun to be had here, and it is well worth the price tag. Transport Fever 2 is currently 50% off, just around $25, and it is a fun little gem for anybody who likes managing supply chains across vast expanses of territory, challenged by different eras of technology, and limited by the simulations of real-world systems. There are multiple historical campaigns to play through, taking you across multiple continents and time periods, or you can play in the more open-ended sandbox mode. Regardless of which you pick, you'll be managing a network of a huge variety of vehicles, from trains to buses, and from trucks to airplanes and ships, building stations and planning routes to ensure the smooth flow of goods from where they're produced to where they're needed, and the smooth flow of people too. Transport Fever 2 is one of those games where it's very easy to lose track of time as you go in and fine-tune the layout of your tracks, stations, and roads, and perfect the efficiency of all the moving parts. If you're even remotely interested in the complexities of infrastructure management, the sandbox mode is especially addictive, and you'll spend many an hour in the game just watching your network come to life, or fall apart as the case may be. Transport Fever 2 is one of those games that is super easy to come back to time and time again, playing for short spurts at a time but spending a surprising amount of hours each time. I can definitely recommend this game for fans of the old Railroad Tycoon games especially. Sure, they've got their differences, but Transport Fever 2 definitely hits a similar spot, and on sale, it is an absolute steal. Battle Brothers is an all-time favorite of mine, and it's currently 50% off, available for just $16. An open-world sandbox RPG with turn-based tactical combat, Battle Brothers feels as close to genre-defining as you can get, as many games have tried to capture the magic since its release. You take charge of a company of mercenaries with a few different starting storylines and conditions to choose from, and you lead them from contract to contract, traveling through a massive, randomly generated world full of all sorts of people and fantastical beasts alike. You'll seek new hires based on their backgrounds, looking to cover all roles in your party, and you'll deal with multiple factions of quest givers, managing your relations with them to unlock better opportunities or better prices at the shops in the cities they run. Quests will undoubtedly take you to the battlefield, and in Battle Brothers, your combat strategies go beyond number crunching and arithmetic, as different enemy types need you to take entirely different things into consideration when engaging them. Stabbing weapons are useless against skeletons, for example, and you're better off stripping naked when fighting the beasts that cause damage entirely through the power of thought. Against them, your heaviest of armor means nothing, and in fact, it slows you down so they can hit you before you can hit them. These little quirks leave a lot of room for discovery through countless runs, and there's a significant amount of challenge involved, whether you want to keep all your hires alive through a playthrough or not. The skill trees are huge, the equipment variety is through the roof, and the complex nature of combat just constantly keeps Battle Brothers at the top of my list of recommendations for people who are interested in the genre, whether you're familiar with it or you're just starting to dip your toes into it. Battle Brothers and all of its DLC is worth grabbing at full price, so with the base game at such a great sale price, I have absolutely zero hesitation in recommending it. I hope these recommendations help guide you through the chaos of the Steam Autumn Sale, and if you have any thoughts or recommendations of your own, again, feel free to drop them in the comments down below. If you found something you liked here, don't hesitate to hit the like button, and feel free to subscribe for more guides, let's plays, reviews, previews, and more, especially for games in these genres. You can check the pinned comment for even more recommendations, but in the meantime, as always, a massive thanks goes out to all of the channel members and patrons who've been supporting the channel on a monthly basis. Y'all keep us alive and running smoothly, and of course, a big ol' thanks goes out to each and every one of you for watching. Until next time, cheers.